Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time once again for another video. This time out, I'm going to be showing you my top 3 movies for 2017 and my top music release for 2017. But I feel like I have to give kind of a disclaimer for both of these. For the movies, you're probably going to think that, or you might think, that my top 3 movies are all way too mainstream, like I didn't really dig under the surface to find, the hidden gems of 2017. There's a reason for that, and I'll give you a brief reason for that. I am on the selection committee for the Cleveland International Film Festival, so every week I am given movies to watch that are absolutely range from fairly big budget features to absolute zero budget shorts, and I get a selection of those every week. So I have seen some really ultimate independent films that haven't been released yet. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to talk about them because of the fact that these movies may or may not be finished when I see them. When I tend to go to the movies or watch movies of my own personal choice, I tend to veer away from independent stuff just because I've seen so many varying degrees of quality on indie stuff. Doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means that when I'm on my own personal time, I tend to gravitate towards the things that I like the most, which are science fiction or horror or superhero movies, things of that nature. So my level of enjoyment has to be based on that. So filtering through that, these are my top 3 movies for 2017. First up is SpiderMan Homecoming. Of course, this is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The reason I like it is, one, Spider-Man is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. And two, I think they finally got him right. I thought Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi movies was really, really good, and of course at the time it was the best. The Andrew Garfield version I thought was a little too odd. He was too cool to be Peter Parker. This portrayal by Tom Holland is the perfect, at least so far, portrayal of Peter Parker / Spider-Man that we've seen in the movies so far. Of course, he is still a high school kid. This has sort of a very juvenile feel to it, but that's a good thing. And even though it is part of the part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it may not be considered a standalone movie as such, I think it is the best portrayal of Spider-Man on film as of yet. So that's why it's one of my top 3 picks of the year. Another movie that is Marvel related but not as of yet part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was Logan. I thought this was just absolutely fantastic. I thought Hugh Jackman did just an absolutely stellar job portraying Wolverine in this. I thought the plot was excellent. I thought the action was just absolutely brutal and just superlative. I thought director James Mangold did just a wonderful job with sort of a grizzled version of a superhero we've seen on the screen many, many times before in varying degrees of quality. This is absolutely the best way I think that Wolverine, as portrayed by Hugh Jackman, could have gone out on top. Fantastic. And then my final of my top 3 picks is Get Out, which I didn't see in the theatrical release. I saw this on Blu-ray later in the year. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic subversion of the horror genre, and it has sort of a political and racial element to it. I thought director and writer Jordan Peele just did something absolutely unexpected with the genre, and it's just a lot of fun. Everybody involved with portrayals, Bradley Whitford, who else is in this? Catherine Keener, I believe, and I'm probably going to mangle the guy's name who is the star, Daniel Kaluuya. Sorry if I'm screwing that up. I'm not really good with pronouncing your name, but just an excellent, excellent movie, and not what I was expecting, but much better. So here is my pick for my favorite musical release of 2017, and this also comes with kind of a disclaimer. It wasn't recorded in 2017. It wasn't even recorded in the last 2 decades. But it was released in 2017, and I'll explain. So in 1990, a band called the Electric Angels, or Electric Angels, put out this CD, which is their eponymously titled Electric Angels on Atlantic Records. And it sort of got lost in the shuffle. This was the era of the hair band, Poison and Bon Jovi and Def Leppard and all that kind of stuff. And out comes this album, which was, I guess if you look at them, you would say, okay, they're just another hair band from Los Angeles. But they weren't. And this album, Electric Angels, contained some of the best songwriting that I'd heard in the just rock and roll genre. They may have looked like a hair band, but they really weren't. And I always loved this album, and it took me forever to find a used copy on CD. I had it on cassette when it originally came out. It didn't receive a lot of promotion back when it was released. So this band kind of went by the wayside, and I guess they weren't really happy with their contract that they had with Atlantic, the fact that they didn't get promoted very much. So they kind of came and went. They were sort of resurrected as another band in, I think, 1995 with some of the original members, and it was called The Loveless. Some of their songs were on that album were meant for the second album that Electric Angels were supposed to put out that never materialized. So lo and behold, in 2017, a label called Demon Doll Records put out the second Electric Angels album called Lost in the Atlantic. And this is everything I would hoped the second album by Electric Angels would be. Even though it was recorded in 1990, 1991, it was released finally for the first time in 2017. Here's the inside of it. And I just have to say that if you're a fan of rock and roll, if your tastes lean towards, say, hard rock, like Hanoi Rocks, or even alternative stuff like maybe The Replacements, or maybe The Smithereens, maybe, kind of going that way, but leaning more towards the hard rockish type stuff. If you do like hair metal, but you just like rock and roll with guitars and actually heartfelt lyrics, good performances on all the instruments, real instruments, guitars, bass, drums, check this out. I don't know if it's still available. Check out Demon Doll Records website. This was called a limited edition release, so it was limited. I don't know if it is still available. I picked it up early in the year, I think like in May of 2017, but this has been on super heavy rotation in my car CD player ever since. It is not available on streaming, so you can't find it on like Spotify or anything like that. So I never listen to it at work because I stream most of my music while I'm at work when I listen to it, but definitely check it out. So that is my pick for my favorite release of 2017 musically, Electric Angels, Lost in the Atlantic. So there you go. Those are my picks for 2017 for movies and music. And I'll have my best video game of 2017 coming up very shortly. So thanks again for watching, everybody. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.